Good afternoon to everyone. It's an honor to be here this afternoon to share with you my 20-year journey. Actually, to tell you the truth, when Rebecca called me and asked me to be one of the speakers here, I just said, I think I'd rather sing to a 2,000 capacity theater than to speak here in front of you guys. I'm more comfortable in singing than doing this talk. Anyway, so the last time I said that was during the panel of towns. I said, I'd rather sing than to be here in front of you. Anyway, my talk for this afternoon will be a very informal one. I will bring you to my very colorful journey of the world of opera. Let me begin with my frustration. In a country where talent is extraordinary, everywhere you go, streets, provinces, there is no support from the government and from the private sectors, unfortunately. Music and art is not a luxury. All of our children should be learning music. Learning music can increase thinking skills, creativity. Look around you. Everything is art. Art is important, but every government institution and private sectors cuts funding. It is such a pity because we have a natural talent when it comes to arts. As Cameron McIntosh have said before, the Philippines is like a factory of producing talents. But unfortunately, we don't nurture and hone them to be our product for export. Every time a choral group competes abroad, whether they are from the private, public school, or provinces, name it, they will always bring home the gold medal. But you will not see it in the newspapers or the news. We'll just hear it from our peers who will just, share it on Facebook. So there's no support. Well, I am very fortunate to have a cultured and supportive parents. I am from a family of musicians. My grandmother played the harpsichord and violin, and I have 2 concert pianist aunts. My mom plays the piano, and my dad knows how to play the guitar and appreciates music. At an early age, they enrolled me in every summer from ballet, organ, piano, and etc. I was part of the Marinol High School Glee Club. But I wasn't the favorite of our conductor in our club. That's why when we have our reunion, they are so surprised that, I pursued music. The entrance for college came. It was a choice between mass communication and music. For you to be able to enter the College of Music, you have to audition. Whether you pass the UPCAT or not, you have to do the audition. If you don't pass the audition, you don't enter the college. So it was a choice between mass comm and music. So my mom asked me, what do you want? Do you want to be behind the scene or you want to be in the limelight? Of course, I said, I want to be in the limelight. I want people to watch me. So there it goes. I entered the UP College of Music. At the same time I entered music, I had the privilege to join Repertory Philippines. It's there I learned the true meaning of discipline and professionalism. Under the mentorship of the late Zenaida Bibot Amador and Baby Barredo was one of the best experiences in my life. It was a love and hate relationship between us. I hated them before. I thought that they were so mean, they were so evil. 1 second late for rehearsal, an ashtray will welcome you. I'll share with you a story. During one of the big musicals of Repertory Philippines, it was King and I. I was one of the chorus girls. And my son in that production just ran and then broke my toe. So I was kicked out of the production, but at the same time, it was my first leading role in the next production. That's why I was rehearsing with my crutches, and self-pity came in. I was crying, and then Tita Bibot grabbed me in my collar, and then she started cursing me. And then she said, "What, are you gonna give up now?" Of course, I started crying, and the more she cursed me. So she told me, "You have to have that cast crushed. If not, I will be the one to crush it." So I went to my doctor and I told him, you have to remove my cast. And then my doctor said, no, 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 no. You still have 1 week. No, 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 no. No decision. That's it. It's final. You have to remove my cast. So I had it removed. During the technical rehearsal, it was my first lead. We had the barn dance, and I was wearing ballet shoes, and it was hitting my toe. So I went to Tita Bibot and I asked her for Ponstan. I told her, I'm in pain. I need Ponstan. She told me, what, you're gonna quit now? And then she did not give me Ponstan. I hated her from that moment. I said, she is so evil. But then I realized that everything was part of it. Every experience with her is part of the learning process. But after 30 years with that unhealed toe with me is a remembrance that despite all odds, nothing is impossible. And I realized that it was part of her training. And I owe Tita Bibot for that. She once told me, Karla, you always have to aim for excellence. And until this day, that became my motto, aim for excellence. I finished college for 9 years. That's why my dad kid his friends. Si Karla, Magna 9 years. It took a while before I graduated because of all my productions with Repertory Philippines, because we'll end up late, like rehearsals, it ends at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then when I arrive home, people are already going to their schools, jogging. So examination week, 9 o'clock, voice lessons. So I always do the, ano tawag doon? I forgot. Basta yung 2 weeks after. And then, took a while before I graduated because of all the productions. I was then the ingenue leading lady of Repertory Philippines. I played Cosette in Les Miserables, Julie Jordan in Carousel, Cinderella Into the Woods. And I was part of President Fidel Ramos's Western Europe tour. But I never regretted it because I learned more outside school. It's the real playground, as what we call it. Then, I went to Rome for opera interpretation, studies with Accademia Internazionale dell'Arte, which is AIDA. I was also part of the Rome Opera Festival in Hansel und Gretel. During the first day of rehearsals, we had to get to know each other. Everyone was part of an opera company, except me. It was then where I realized that there is no opera company here in the Philippines that homes classical singers. My maestro offered me and wanted to manage me an international career because she said, your edge is you can sing, you can dance. Your edge is you can dance, you can act with my Repertory Philippines training, and I will manage you in Europe. But I said, I think I have a different calling. I told her, I'm sorry, but I need to go back to the Philippines and put up an opera company. And she was shocked because an offer like that, you cannot say no. But I said, I'm sorry, I have another calling. I went back to the Philippines. My mom did not talk to me for 1 month because, of course, she wanted to see a daughter performing internationally. And she thought that I wasn't serious. She thought I was just fickle about the concept of putting up an opera company. So in 1999, I founded Philippine Opera Company. I have to give up my professional theater career to focus on managing the company. It was a big struggle. 20 years before, my objective was to give a home and platform or venue for classical singers to perform and to change the image of opera that it's only for the elite. That's why we perform anywhere, everywhere, name it. Streets, churches, tables, name it. See? Streets. Hansel and Gretel was our very first production with Repertory Philippines. It was successful. It was a big hit. We had 20 shows. That's already big for an opera production. Then our first big production was, that's Hansel and Gretel, that's me. You know why? Because Tita Bibot said, you have to be in this production. You just have to be in it so that you will know how to manage a show. So then our first production was Opera Now. My aim was to show the country that we have a lot of classical singers. And I invited the hibernating classical singers who are just, you know, teaching because they don't have the venue. Oops, sorry. Oops. There. Then we had our first opera season. Then we had our very first opera season with masterclass and magic flute. Then our first venture with international singers came in the help of Japan Foundation for Opera Now with Japanese opera singers to perform Madama Butterfly. In 2008, we had our second opera season with masterclass, this time with Miss Sherry Hill as Maria Callas. Magic flute, where we toured in the provinces and the CCP. And came La Boheme. I prepared La Boheme for 2 years. We had a very good marketing plan. Everything was smooth, perfect, except for the last 3 weeks when they announced the arrival of Paul Potts, who just won from the British Got Talent. And of course, everybody watched Paul Potts because of his story. Therefore, we lost a big amount of money from that production. You know, producing opera is really expensive. Imagine you have a full orchestra, you have to bring in conductors, talent fees of the opera singers are higher. So after that, my mom spoke to me and told me that we should do something in Filipino, since we're the Philippine Opera Company. I didn't want to do zarzuelas or mount an original opera, so an idea came in, why not promote and educate Filipinos with the beauty of Kundiman songs and our culture. And that's where Harana was born. It was one of our successful shows, but of course, again, had a hard time promoting during the first 2 years. People didn't want to watch a cultural show. One time, I was selling tickets to this guy. He said he didn't want to watch a cultural show because it's Baduy, it's tinikling. And he told me he just purchased a ticket of the Phantom of the Opera for 7,000 peso ticket. I wanted to smack his face. And I told him to face in front of the mirror because he looks so Filipino. Why not support a Filipino production? Right? He was I just bought a 7,000 peso ticket and I don't want to watch Tinikling. You know, as I've said a while ago, it took me a while for me to get a market. It's just a matter of dragging them inside the theater and experience the cultural journey. It isn't a tinikling that they will experience. It's bringing back the sense of pride in being a Filipino. Harana was a hit. It was the word of mouth that helped the show. It is a simple show, but very powerful. All our shows were standing ovations. Everyone from the audience thanked us for mounting Harana because it's about time for our children to know their roots. I was able to bring Harana around the country, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and even outside in Amsterdam, where we got 4 standing ovations from the diplomatic community, and to Canada and the US, where we got the US Congress Award for an Image Award. We've toured Harana to the different schools, and we're so overwhelmed because even grade school students give us standing ovation. Mrs. Sullivan of OB Montessori bought a show and was so overwhelmed too with the reactions of her students and decided for us to make a program for all the OB Montessori branches. And we taught the kids how to sing and dance the tinikling. We performed Harana with them, teaching patriotism at an early age. It is very important to know who we are. We always need to support our own and love our own. Another turning point of Philippine Opera Company is when we got kicked out of San Lorenzo, because that was the time when they had to remove all the commercial establishments inside San Lorenzo, and they just gave us 3 months to evacuate and look for a place. It was a nightmare for us because all our students, because we have a school also, all our students will be displaced. We have a season. Where are we gonna rehearse? But we found a lot. In Makati, in Palanan, we built our opera house. It is our home for classical singers. It was a big gamble for us, but we just jumped into the decision. A big decision, a big surprise came in, so that's where. A big surprise came in when Miss Saigon decided to hold their auditions at the Opera House. It helped us in marketing, the Opera House. We had 1,200 aspirees to audition. And Macintosh was there, and Claude Michel Schoenberg was also there. And I have a very nice story also, because Claude Michel Schoenberg is the composer of Miss Saigon and Les Miserables. And then he wanted to go back to his hotel, and he said, "How are you gonna go back, sir?" So, yeah. And he said, "Oh, I'm just gonna take a cab." "You're gonna take a cab?" And then he said, "Yeah." "Okay, can I just volunteer? I'll bring you to your hotel." And that was the first time that I thanked the traffic for 1.5 hours. Imagine being beside the Claude Michel Schoenberg. I learned a lot from him. And I realized that his first love was opera. That's why if you could listen to his arrangements, his music, opera is a very big impact in his composition. So, even that's Opera House, that's where, there. Even AMDA hold auditions there in Philippine Opera Company. It's our corporate events that helps our opera shows, because every time we mount an opera production, we always lose money. That's where we need more corporate shows. So I was able to, for us to be able to get the attention of the younger generation, I put up 2 groups, the Opera Bells and the Opus One. So they are the groups who perform for corporate functions. Opera Bells was once a Sony Music artist until Sony closed down. 5 years ago, I was already very down. That's Opus. I was already very down, and I was already at my saturating point. I started asking myself, what ifs? What if I agreed to that international career? I would just be focusing on learning my music, going and shuttling in the planes. I don't have to beg, because I got tired of begging for money for the arts. So I went to the US, had a quick vacation, and then I realized I was at the compound of the LA Opera. So what I did, I went to the box office. I made friends with the person at the box office, introduced myself. "I'm from the Philippine Opera Company. Hi, how are the ticket sales?" And then he just said, "You know what, to tell you frankly, it's bad." It was Renee Fleming who was doing a show there. Like, Renee Fleming, and you have, the tickets aren't good? Yeah, And then the next day, I'd had meeting with the LA Opera. So I shared with them my frustrations with the company, so staying in an opera company, and they just told me, "You know what, Karla? It's a worldwide problem. Sustaining an opera company is very hard." That's the reason why we always put Placido Domingo in our season, to bring up the ticket sales. There's only one opera company who's really making money, and that is the Metropolitan Opera Company, because of the will and everything. So she told me, "You know what you should do? You should focus on the curriculum of the students, because why? They are gonna be your next ticket buyers." Emphasizing of ticket buyers, not giving out complimentary tickets, because we have to sustain a company. So I went back. After a short vacation, I organized the Young Artist Series, or what we call YAS. It is a training ground for young classical singers in the art and stagecraft performance. It gives them the opportunity to integrate singing with stage direction, acting, diction, and so on. The goal is to furnish them with a solid foundation on which to build a sustainable performance career. Since we have the foundation, the Friends of the Philippine Opera Foundation, our two main objectives are to give free training to the Filipino artists through the opera workshops, and to educate the Filipinos to opera through our Young Artist series shows. For us to sustain the program, we sell the Yas Pass. It's like a season pass to support our programs. So if any one of you would like to support our program, please feel free to approach me or visit our site, the Philippine Opera Company. So our YAS programs is a very big success, and it's been helping our classical singers. And we got the attention of the president of CCP and invited us to do our YAS shows at the CCP lobby to encourage more audiences from different sectors and schools. Everything is for free. It's important to create a community who will be ticket buyers, not people ask for complimentary tickets. We need to sustain, as I've said, everyone should be a part of sustaining arts in any art form in this country. Remember my life in what ifs? What if I grabbed the opportunity to go back to Europe? But I guess my what ifs were answered when the CCP called me to make a program for the public school students, make opera grassroots. Well, then I had an idea of making a new script kind of similar to a teleserye. So the public school students would be able to connect. Like my first, okay, mga bata, sino ang kapamilya dito? Sino ang kapuso? I was able to get them with that phrase. And then everything went on. Like Enrique Hill is just like Alfredo in La Boheme. You know, you just need to connect with them. So it was so successful. When they left the venue, everyone's "Wah!" And I think it was a good that they were able to understand the show. They had fun. I taught them that, there's such thing as soprano, alto, soprano, mezzo-soprano, baritone, tenor. But you know what? There are different kinds of sopranos. There are lyric soprano. I made them listen to some clips for them to understand. And I told them, you have to have your own voice. You don't have to imitate anyone because you have to hone it. So, and it doesn't mean that you have a high voice that you're already good. So, again, it was so successful that our show was 1 hour, and we had a question and answer after that. It was longer than our show because they were so enthusiastic. They had questions like, paano po makapag-aral ng opera? Kasi mahilig po akong kumanta. Gusto ko pong kumanta pero ayaw ng magulang ko. To translate it, how do I be able to enroll, to study music? But unfortunately, my parents wouldn't allow me, and I don't have the means to study. And when I got home, I was not able to sleep for 1 week because I said, there's a future there. There are so many talents there in those public schools, just in Manila itself. I need to help them. It was like their conscience was, I just need to do something. So I told my assistant, please, we need to go back, schedule an audition. We went back to those schools and auditioned. And I was at awe and shocked because some of them could sing classical. One of them performed an aria from Handel, Coloratura. And I asked her, where did you learn that? She said, ako lang po nag-aral. I was shocked. One guy, good-looking, tall, has a future. But when you look at his socks, there's a rubber band just to pull up the socks. And he sang, You Raise Me Up. I teared because it was so organic. It was just raw. It came from the heart. So now I have another 30 kids who are under my scholarship. Yes, but I need money. The bottom line. Because I have, I'll give Rain as an example. Rain Pineda was part of The Voice. You know The Voice, Channel 2? Lea Salonga called me. She said, Karla, I have this talent. You know The Voice, she's under Team Leia. But this girl, she's 11 years old. She loves opera. She loves Kondiman. It's her passion. But the thing is, she will not make it during the battles because naman the viewers, they will go for the birit. But this girl has a future. So, but the thing is, she doesn't have the means to study. I told her, okay, tell her to visit Philippine Opera Company. So she auditioned. And wow, she's really good for 11 years old. Now she's 16. She's been with us for 5 years. I was able to get someone to sponsor her because she's gonna pursue music. I was able to get someone to sponsor her K11 and 12 in Santa Isabel, and she's an honor student. She was I'm having goosebumps. She was able to pass the Mint College, Mint, UST, and actually all the colleges except for UP because it's not part of OPA. Hindi pa rin lumalabas na UP. UST, Mint, and I forgot the other one. So now I'm preparing her for OPA because OPA is a foundation of Resorts World who gives 5-year scholarship for arts. So if she makes it in OPA, she have another 5-year scholarship. That's what we're trying to do with these public school students. The scholars of Philippine Opera Company, we train them K-10, we train them for 2 years for them to prepare for the requirements to be able to pass the auditions for the conservatory. And then after that, we prepare them for the auditions of OPA so that they will have another 5-year scholarship. Yeah. So again, with my what ifs, I guess this is the answer. I have so much fulfillment in helping and doing these outreach programs in the public schools. And last September, we just celebrated the 20th anniversary of Philippine Opera Company through Passion. I guess it was that. So see, as in, those are the public schools. We do one-on-one workshops with them. So Passion, it was very apt for me to choose Passion as our 20th anniversary show because I guess that's the of my life, the passion of sustaining opera in this country. And with the success of Passion last year, we are doing a rerun this September because of the nominations, the good reviews, and everything. So hope to see you there in September at the RCBC Theater. Thank you very much for listening to me.